It's more. All right, Marcia, you ready to go? All right, all rise. Oyez, oyez, the Honorable County Commission of the County of Putnam is now sitting in regular session to transact all business required of it by law or any other business that may come before it at this time. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Commissioner Skidmore as acting president.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Gentlemen, how are you this morning?
Good.
Got a relatively easy morning for you this morning. It won't be like that in some future meetings. But for now, what I'd like to do is present you with a couple of orders. One order is to transfer from the Putnam County Community Criminal Justice Fund to the General County Fund the sum of $21,073.08. Another order to transfer from the Putnam County Community Criminal Justice Fund to the General County Fund the sum of $21,359.50. An order to transfer from the General County Fund to Putnam County Employee Benefit Fund the sum of $9,227 even. An order to transfer from the General County Fund to Putnam County Employee Benefit Fund the sum of $9,031 even. And an order to transfer from the General County Fund to the Putnam County Employee Benefit Fund the sum of $9,131 even.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the orders as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Ready to move forward?
Yep.
In addition, it is the season for redistricting, and so obviously everything has been pushed back due to the census, due to COVID. Census was pushed back, and then the census pushed the legislature back, and then so once the legislature finishes it, then the county commission has a responsibility to upgrade our precincts boundaries and our match-road boundaries to match kind of what the state has sent down. So because we can't cross delegate lines, can't cross senatorial lines. With that said, they're using census blocks rather than precinct blocks. So we got a lot of changes that are going to have to be made. A lot of the public won't see it. They'll probably see a more compact, contiguous type of map. But on our end, for the folks downstairs in my office, it's a lot of work. With that said, I anticipate hopefully a bill coming out sometime by the end of next week. I would like your all's permission to go ahead and advertise for the next commission meeting to and word it in a way that discussion and possible decision on redistricting. I don't know that we'll be getting all the work done by the next commission meeting, but because we have a duty to advertise and post for the public to have their say-so in it, or at least, listen to what we're talking about,
Right.
to be, for transparency purposes, I feel it necessary to go ahead and try to enter that order unless Larry believes that wouldn't be legal in some way. There's two types of codes that we have to follow. And I believe they're putting some stuff in the bill to help the counties out in that they're shortening the time frame for the publication. So, but if we can all get a jump on it, get started as soon as we possibly can, it's going to definitely benefit my office, because once it's all said and done, I got to find out who's in those little slices of pie and make sure that I get them in the right Senate district, get them in the right delegate district, and move those boundaries and get it all mapped out and everything, so that way people that want to run realize where their districts are in, people that vote know who they're voting for, and then also we don't have a situation where we have somebody winning by 2 votes and we have 5 people voting in the wrong delegate district or Senate district. So it's very, very, very important work. So one, I would like your all's permission for that. Secondly, the legislature has been good about me trying to tweak a few things. I went up there with Jeff Billings the other day and tried to tweak a few things, knowing that I couldn't do a mass overhaul of the map to try to match our precinct lines and things like that. But there was little tiny things that really, in the big picture, to them didn't mean anything, but to us meant a lot. There's 2 other tweaks. That one I'll go up and personally, and that's the lower part of Mill Creek Crossing, the bottom row, because the census blocks really didn't respect the subdivision boundaries. The lower part of Mill Creek Crossing, like 5 houses are in one house district instead of the other house district. So hopefully, if it's not too late, once we put the aerial over it and saw that, I'd like to see that tweak happen. But also, what I would like for your all support on is we have about 1,028 or so citizens down in the Fraser's Bottom area. And that area, there was 3 precincts that always voted in the 14th delegate district, which goes down into Mason County, and the majority of it is in Mason County. Let's back up. Last redistricting, we had citizens from Hurricane that had to go down to Lincoln, Logan, Boone, and not that those people are fine and everything else, but you want representatives. You want to be able to, your representatives to drive the same roads you drive, shop at the same shopping centers, breathe the same air, drink the same water, and so forth. So you had the Hurricane citizens going down there. You had 3 precincts going that way towards Mason County. You had the 13th delegate district, which was the north side of the river going into Mason, Jackson. And then you had the 38th delegate district that came over kind of up to probably the new interchange at where 35 meets the interstate, and down to the river across Nitro, and then up into Cross Lanes for the 38th delegate district. The maps that I've saw to this point has brought those people back from Hurricane into the Hurricane area. So that would be one delegate district. And then the other delegate district brought the people from the 38th into Putnam County. So that would be another delegate district. The 13th, the north side of the river, is a standalone district as well, with some precincts on this side, maybe 1 or 2. But because the legislature, the House, is using the 5% variance as their threshold of what they do not want any of the delegate districts going over, obviously we have just barely too much population to not have 3 perfect delegate districts at the max. The precise population plus the 5%. We're just barely over that. So what I would ask is that we write a letter of support. And I listened to all these redistricting meetings and stuff like that, and I believe I heard the lawyer talk about that 10% has been upheld in court when it comes to state and local elections, because obviously congressional, you're dealing with a bigger, so 10% of a congressional is a pretty big number. 10% of of a House district is a lot smaller number. But it's been upheld in court. So my hope would be that we could get those 1,000 citizens that are down there in Fraser's Bottom placed into one of our three, because they're contiguous with all three of the delegate districts, but get them over here with Putnam County. Not that there's anything wrong with the folks in Mason County, it's just, I hate to see everybody get into the county except for about 1,000.
Yeah, I'd say, well, we had the first redistricting meeting here, actually in this courtroom, and that was the common theme that was expressed, is just common sense. When we're looking at these maps and when we're doing this redistricting, just use some common sense. And to have 1,000 Putnam County voters not lumped in with Mason County just doesn't make any sense, especially if we can be within that threshold. So I fully support sending a letter, and with the way they're developing in the Senate and the House right now, I'd say time is of the essence. So I'd say we need to get that out quickly.
Absolutely.
As far as advertising, Larry, I could see no harm in advertising, because even if we don't have our direction from the Senate and House, we can still have a discussion here of what our plans are, but I really believe we'll have that information. So I see no harm in advertising for the last meeting of this month to have that discussion. Do you?
And I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I was thinking it had to be advertised at least 30 days in advance.
The Matchrow District, I believe, it has to be posted here at the courthouse for 30 days. Then you go into, because there's so many changes, we're going to have to remove precinct lines, possibly precinct polling locations and different things like that. Because there are so many changes, then you go to the precinct advertising as well, which is 90 days before the election, plus a Class 2.0 advertisement. So what I'm trying to do is, and in hopes that if we'll go ahead and post it and we'll advertise it, and then my hope is that when they enter the bill, it'll give us to where we do not have to have that 30-day, maybe a 2-week window instead of a 30-day window. If they don't, then we realize that the next meeting we're just discussing and we're not entering order, and no harm, no foul. We're just being more transparent with what we have to work with at that time. Right now, the only thing that I have is what the public has, and that's what's on the legislative website. And then also I have what currently our precinct numbers are currently as far as population goes. So if you're all interested in that, but some of the precincts are going to change so dramatic. I don't know that those numbers will be helpful at this time. So, but like Larry said, I don't believe there's any harm in doing it. It's just that we may not be able to proceed with an order at that point in time, and I don't know that we'd be ready with it. The way I envision it is once the Senate and the House create their maps, then we'll take that, we'll overlay that onto our current precincts. We'll look at it and try to do the best we can do in the time that we have to make precincts look right, make sure that we're trying to get people to still vote in the same areas where they voted in the past. So we'll try to, and when I say we, me and Bobby in mapping, we'll try to get what the precincts look like. And then at that point, once we get the precincts built, then we'll bring that to you guys and let you all look at it from a standpoint of how to slice the pie when it comes to the match-rural districts.
Okay. Mr. Ellis, your thoughts?
I'm with Brian. I don't think that it would hurt to go ahead and advertise. And as far as the letter, Larry to write a letter from the commission.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you, Jim.
Make a motion that we.
I don't think, do you want a motion for that, Larry, or just, we've had,
Letter of support?
yeah, under Brian's orders?
Probably wouldn't hurt, just so it's on part of the record.
Okay.
Need a motion to allow Larry Fry to draft a letter under Brian Wood's direction, and also to advertise for the meeting, our next meeting.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 And Marcy, if you'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. Yeah. And Larry,
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
thank you all.
All right, back to our general business. We have our prior meeting minutes.
Okay, make a motion that we approve the prior meeting minutes.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We had erroneous assessments.
Make a motion for the erroneous assessments, combined and divided personal.
Okay. Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then we have personnel payroll changes.
Make a motion on the personal payroll changes as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Payment of bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner report, do you have anything to report this time?
I do. October 12th was supposed to be the fire board meeting, and I believe it's been moved till the 19th due to sickness. So other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Before our next meeting, we'll have a Development Authority meeting on October 26th at 4:30 PM at Area 34. Is there anyone that has a public comment related to something that is not on the agenda? Yes, ma'am. You can come on forward. Okay, that's fine. You will come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Would you like my full address, the street
Yeah.
address? Sure.
Yes.
My name's Melissa Sigley. My street address is 7 Charlo Drive, and that's in Hurricane, West Virginia. And I thank you for your time today. September 2021 saw the highest rates of COVID in Putnam County, higher than any of the previous waves. While our surrounding counties and the state average cases saw approximately 10% of their cases in the 5 to 11-year age bracket, Putnam County saw between 15 to 20% in the same age bracket. Combined with a similar proportion in the 31 to 40-year age bracket, which are likely to be parents, teachers, and other family members, that's over to 30 to 40% of cases on any given day. The difference between Putnam County and the rest of the state is a lack of a mask mandate in the schools. And during previous waves, there have been multiple mitigation strategies in place, including not all students were attending in-person classes, social distancing, and masking. And we're sorry to bring this to you, however, we've tried to go all through every avenue we can, and so we're coming to you now because that was proposed to be the next step. In the past month, despite the advent of an additional mitigation strategy, which is a vaccine, Putnam County remains with only 56% vaccinated, and our COVID rates were higher than ever during September. The New York Times reports Putnam County is at an extremely high-risk rating for unvaccinated people, including our children. They say 1 in 7 residents have contracted COVID, which is 8,265 cases as of yesterday since the beginning of the pandemic. Our hospitals have been overrun, including CAMC and Taze Valley. Often they had 2 lines going around the hospital for COVID testing. We've had to postpone elective surgeries twice. The ERs are overrun, and there were long wait times for hospital beds. WVU Hospitals was listed in crisis mode, and in a recent news story in Morgantown, they listed Taze Valley among one of the top places that they frequently had patients transferred from. And recently, CAMC said in terms of designation, they're currently in disaster mode because the hospitals do run a little longer in terms of hospitalizations and death rates than what the COVID rates track. There's no mitigation strategy that is going to be 100%, but that doesn't mean we need to give up on all of them. The efficacy of masks depend on the type of mask, but as an example, a loose-fitting double cloth mask can decrease 51% of viral particles. A surgical mask has higher standards for capturing virus-sized particles, and those numbers are specific depending on the mask. KN95 masks and N95 masks capture greater than 90% of virus-sized particles. Despite the fact that masks do help to decrease transmission and are one of the only mitigation strategies available to our students, since they're not able to be vaccinated for a lot of them, and it's very hard to socially distance in the schools now, the school board has refused to consider a mask mandate, despite being strongly urged to do so by Dr. Roby twice. Their current mandate does not, in fact, mandate masks unless the schools get to such a high rate that they actually should have been shut down for cleaning and quarantine. And as well, the school board has made it impossible for the health department to do their contact tracing and quarantine the students. And that's a whole issue, but there's many critics to a school mask mandate. And one thing they say to us is that COVID doesn't stop at the school doors, and they are exactly right. I agree. We have nursing homes with visitation policies based on local rates of transmission. We have hospitals and doctor visits limited or cut out due to COVID rates. Daycares have had to adjust their protocols. Early intervention visits have had to adjust their protocols or how they see their children. And our community continues to be affected by COVID. I'm going to add in a personal story. Last month, I have a 1-year-old. We were getting ready to go get a smoothie at McDonald's, which is right across from MedExpress. And my 1-year-old was sitting in the back seat with my 6-year-old, and my 1-year-old started gasping for breath, and he couldn't catch his breath. And so I pulled over and immediately started making sure he was okay. He started to breathe again, and I looked across the street at MedExpress. Their parking lot was packed. I knew we weren't getting in to see them there. I knew the ERs were busy, and I wasn't going to take my unmasked, because he's one, unvaccinated child to an ER because they were so busy. And so I drove as fast as I could to Barbersville to the after-hours urgent care to see our pediatrician. And the whole time, my 6-year-old sat in the back seat to watch to make sure my 1-year-old was breathing. We got lucky. We made it there with no additional incidents, steroids and some breathing treatments, and we were off. But as we drove home, my 6-year-old and I finally felt the weight of what had happened. And my 6-year-old said to me, "Mom, I was afraid he was going to stop breathing again, and I didn't know what to do." So yes, the infants to the elderly are affected by COVID right now. Mask-wearing rates are reported to be about 20% in Putnam County, which could be an overestimate in my opinion. Many people in the area are like our school board. They'll follow a mandate, but they're unwilling to do proactively something to help the hospitals and the community. While the numbers have begun to ease this week, without mask wearing, contact tracing, and other measures, it will be back. As the governor has said, weather is cooling. We're going to be spending more time indoors. We're going to be mixing during holiday celebrations. It's the perfect storm for the next wave, or worse yet, what they're predicting to be a twindemic of the flu and COVID. Nothing's 100% effective. That doesn't mean we need to ignore it. We all want to get back to normal. I think everybody could agree with that. But the only way to stop the spread before the next wave is a mask mandate. Considering the majority of cases is seen in the 5 to 11-year-olds and 31 to 40-year-old age brackets, a mask mandate for our schools until the youngest could be vaccinated and the older children can get their boosters is necessary. The school board's made it clear they're not going to protect our children or our community. Our schools need masks to protect our children and our community. This is not a political issue, and unfortunately it has become one, but it's really a public health issue. So I'm asking the commission to consider this for their next agenda item, is to mandate masks for our children's schools. If you'd like any of the statistics or the references that I've brought to you today regarding masking and their efficacy, I'm more than happy to make those available to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, do we have any jurisdiction with the schools?
I can answer that.
Go free.
You've been granted permission. You probably just don't realize it.
What's that?
I said you have been granted permission. You just don't realize it yet. Kids are bringing, sorry, my name is Melissa Oxley, 206 Caroline Drive, Hurricane. Okay, I'm going to piggyback on some of her stuff and then kind of give you a personal story to begin with. We met you about a week ago. I was coughing my head off, and since then have learned that I had RSV, which is just another communicable disease that we're spreading around to everybody. Kids are bringing it home. So whether we believe that the kids are going to be as affected physically, from COVID is not as the only issue. They're bringing it home to parents. They're bringing it home to their younger siblings, their grandparents, and all of their neighbors, anybody that they aren't around at the school. So anything that comes from the school is coming straight home to everybody. It's community spread, and it's going to affect us on a broad spectrum if we don't do something. Here's where I get to the, do you have jurisdiction? And I can get you the article because we've got it saved. The Attorney General West Virginia Attorney General, just put out a directive giving the Putnam County, or the Health Department, not just Putnam County, but the Putnam County Health Department and you guys the authority to put a mask mandate in place. So basically, he was saying that
For the
school boards
school?
do not have the authority, but you guys and the Putnam County Health Department do.
Right, but just for the school, or does that have to be countywide?
It was for the school.
Okay, we
It was,
specifically
it
for
was to
school.
answer the question of who has the authority, because the Board of Education was saying they didn't, and that was our biggest fight with them. So we went, okay, who does? And the Attorney General has released a document, and you can get it's a directive that says the Board of Education does not have that authority, that it's actually you guys and the Putnam County Health Department.
Okay,
Now, I don't know whether you have to do it together or each individual party has that. That's more in there. I'd have to dig a little deeper, but it specifically said county commission.
okay.
As you know, the Putnam County Health Department is doing very little, if any, contact tracing and quarantining in the schools at this point. They were given a 4-inch binder by Putnam County Schools, completely unorganized, with seating charts. And as any of you know, if a teacher is absent and they can't find a sub, then they combine classes. That seating chart's pretty much null and void at that point. So they can't even use those. And to piggyback on that, we can't find subs now because none of the subs want to come and work because there's no masks. And the subs, the majority of our subs in Putnam County are retired teachers, and they're in that elderly category. They're not going to put themselves in the face of COVID. Many volunteers have also offered at the last meeting at the Putnam County Health Department to assist in contact tracing. We have kids in the schools, we know the schools, we can help with the contact tracing, but we were scheduled to do so, and then they canceled our assistance. They are not having us help, and I'm not trying to put down the Putnam County Health Department, but I think there's more effort that could be given, and it's not. It's not being utilized. Our services that we were offering is not being utilized. We know the schools, we know the teachers,
Were you given a reason why?
because of the binder. That's it. They won't respond to us anymore. Our numbers are not accurate in Putnam. Without contact tracing, without quarantining, and then having to test to get out of quarantine, there are kids in the schools, and I actually know of 2 cases specifically, and the parents, that are sending their kids to school knowing they have COVID because they don't have to keep them at home. That's what the problem is. We've got parents not complying. They don't care. Without a mandate, these parents are not voluntarily taking the situation seriously. And then they're going to cause somebody else to die. And that's the plain truth. We've lost too many citizens in Putnam County and in our state. And as we know, county lines don't keep COVID from passing either. You can pass it to your grandparents at Christmas that live 3 states away. And I don't think any of us want to lose a family member. Just last week, one of my daughter's best friends, dad's, was laid to rest from COVID, a month-long battle. Hurricane High School student senior. She's a senior this year. And her dad passed away from COVID from a month-long battle. I don't think any senior would want to bury their dad right before they graduate. And then the last thing that we just ask that you address this at the next meeting, if not before. It is a matter of public health. We are in an emergency situation. If we don't do something, we're going to have a tremendously large outbreak. So.
Okay, thank you. Larry, could you research that and report back to us?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other public comments on anything not on the agenda? All right. We have our estate settlements and fiduciary orders.
Just need a motion to have the acting president sign off on the estate settlements and fiduciary orders.
All right, I make a motion that we have the acting president sign off on the estates and fiduciary orders.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any budget revisions?
Not at this time, maybe later on in the meeting.
So we'll go down to our first agenda item, Region 2 Workforce Investment Board update. Mr. Jake Hunt, Executive Director.
It's always a pleasure to be in front of you guys when I'm not trying to annex property as I used to do years ago. So I'm also happy to report to you, as you know, you and us have an interesting relationship. We receive the money, and if we spend more than we got, you guys get to pick up, along with 6 other counties, get to pick up whatever's left. So you'll be happy to know I can stand before you. I wish I had the audit reports to give you, but for some reason, I didn't realize auditors work so hard, but it seems to be with everything going on. So I will bring those to you, but you'll be happy to know we are not in debt. So you owe nothing. And I will be happy to tell you that all the other county commissions, we have 2 more to go, are very happy to hear that. So just to give you an idea of what we have accomplished through this, over the past, since the period of July 1, 2019 to June 30th, 2021, which is obviously not the greatest period of time, we have provided services to 274 adults, 266 folks who have lost their job through no fault of their own, which literally means they were laid off. So that's a total of 540 people that we provided additional training to at a cost of $1,345,484.85. The 85 cents came from me. The $1,345,484 came from the feds. Because this is all federal funding, and as we know, federal funding is any color but green. In support of services provided to these folks, there were 186 that received supportive services for a total of $109,536.14. Again, I donated to 14 cents. I hope the folks will understand that's said with humor. The supportive services are examples of where individuals may not be able to afford boots to go to work at a particular job, etc., and we provide that. Individuals that we placed in employment over the same period of time was 361 at a reimbursement to employers. By the way, since you guys are employers, we'll be more than happy to work with you too. We literally, and we take reverse referrals. And explaining that, employers can come to us if the person qualifies under the federal regs. We'd be more than happy to do reimbursement. Because people enter the workforce in many different ways. They do not necessarily run to Huntington, West Virginia, or over to Tays Valley, where our office is, workforce office, and say, gee, I want to get a job. They actually may walk into an employer who has a sign up saying they're looking for employee and enter that way. And our argument is if the person qualifies, then we should help them just the same as if their first view is to come. So within that, we placed 361 folks in employment with reimbursement to employers of $1,453,698.91. So the totals for the period of time was 1,087 individuals at $2,908,719.90. We also operate a youth program, and youth isn't what you used to think it is. Youth federally is now 18 to 24. Some people used to think youth was 14, 15 years old. You'll be happy to know I'm hoping I last long enough to where the feds will consider me a youth, but I don't see it happening. We were able to give between the 18 and 24 age group, 73 of them into work experience, and an additional 48 into advanced training, for a total of 121 people. So the major thing, and people always like to know, well, what kind of training did you send people to? 103 participants were medical, 95 were either commercial truck driving, or 4 were deckhands. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this program, but if you ever run into a person who's interested, Mount West has a deckhand program. It lasts exactly 1 week, and it costs $1,200 to send somebody to training for that 1 week. They then have literally 7 boat companies waiting to hire them. They will earn in their first full year right at $50,000 employment. It's one of the highest paying jobs at the shortest training of anything that we've ever worked with. So we had 95 people in that. We had 103 participants in medical, and the remaining 93, because many times people just assume that these are dead-end trainings and stuff we use, so that's why I wanted to share with you. We did accounting, American Sign Language, cosmetology, crane operator, electrical technology, graphic design, HVAC, lineman, machinist, safety technology, and welding. So I hope that gives you an idea of what we're doing with your assistance. And like I said, if there's anything we can do to assist you guys, please give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to see what we can do. Again, it's all determined by federal eligibility, which can become very interesting. If you gentlemen have any questions, I'll be more than happy to either answer them or tell you, gee, I don't know the answer. But again, it's always a privilege and an honor to appear before you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Mr. Ellis, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I do not. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And we'll try to find a job for Larry.
I appreciate that. Next agenda item, request for 10% match funds on FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant Award to Eleanor, Hurricane, Nitro, Taze Valley, and Winfield Volunteer Fire Departments. Do we have a spokesperson? Not everybody at once.
My name is Darren Wilkes. I'm the chief over at Hurricane Fire Department. As I explained in the letter that I sent into the commission, almost a year and a half ago, the departments countywide got together and discussed applying for regional grants. We applied for 3 grant projects. One was rescue tools, one was personal protective equipment, and one was hose and appliances. Fortunately, we got 2 of those grants, the rescue tool grant and the personal protective equipment. So those 2 grants will bring just over $700,000 worth of supplies and equipment into the county. Just like a lot of federal grants, those come with a match. So the match plus fees come to about $80,000 for the 5 departments that took part. So we'd just like to ask the county commission to help us meet that.
Mr. Ellis, I know you currently sit on the fire board, and I've spent time on the fire board in the past. Do you have any comments or questions?
In fact, I do not, but we need a motion to.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is I'm encouraged to see the departments come together and apply for grants. I think that's beneficial for the county. If we do approve this here today, I will say that this is not something that you should count on. We were fortunate last year to have some carryover funds, so I think it's something that we can look at. But again, it's not something that I want you to go back and Oh, we can go back to the commission. They'll help us with that match every time. So just get that disclaimer out there. Commissioner Ellis, you have any other?
No, I'd just like to
Okay.
make a motion that we accept that and match the 10% so we can get the money.
So this budget revision, if you want to put in your motion, if we're going to use it from our carryover funds, that is budget 425. So you can add that to your motion.
Okay. I will amend my motion to, it comes from the CARES money and.
Well, this is actually our carryover.
Carryover, I'm sorry,
yeah.
the carryover money and section 425.
Yep. Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, gentlemen, appreciate your efforts to work together, and hopefully we'll continue to doing that going forward.
And Michael will be able to help you figure out where that needs, how those checks need cut. It'll be cut to
Yeah.
Palmer and Winfield, and he can give you the exact amounts.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, well, along those lines, we have a budget revision.
Okay, we need to, out of Department 425, we need to decrease line item 66, which is contribution to other government funds, by $80,900.27, and increase line item 67, the contributions to government units, by $80,900.27.
Make a motion that we accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to Deerfield Estates. Terry Martin. Sure.
I'm Terry Martin with the Regional Council in South Charleston. I wanted to give you an update and discussion on Deerfield Estates. When we were here the last time, a couple of times ago, we discussed Deerfield Estates as a possible critical needs application. The applicant, the grant itself can go up to $800,000, and we were going to talk about the water company and the county commission making commitment up to $1 million. What we found out is because of the legislation, the critical needs grant program goes up to $1 million as far as total project. If it goes $1 over, then the area does not qualify for grants. So therefore, we had an estimate from the water company in February or March of $793,000 for just the construction. We are working we're going to meet the water company out in the field and discuss the project, and they've had some problems with COVID and more or less going out. So they've extended that to the 20th of October to meet with your engineer, Teradon. But it looks like that project probably will go over the $1 million. So we're looking at other funding sources, an IJDC $500,000 grant, water company, and possibly coming back to you for some of the funds from the water company. But we haven't, I just wanted to open that up for discussion to you. It looks like it's not going to qualify for the critical needs
So
application.
my question to that, Terry, is could we not just reduce the scope?
That's what we're thinking. We have to have a logical place to reduce it.
Right.
And it might be that's one of the ideas, is to reduce the scope. It becomes 100% grant application up maybe to the top of the hill. And then later on, after that project is done, see what the cost would be, because we would totally design it, and then come in with a county project of a couple $100,000, maybe with CARES funds, maybe with whatever, to make the thing, it'll be done in 2 phases, because we can't do it as a total project.
Right.
But we're working on that, and we just have to get some firm numbers to find out what that cost might be.
Okay, that sounds good to me. What's that?
So after the 20th,
Yeah.
when you meet with the engineers.
So hopefully you think we'll have some information by our meeting at the end of this
Yes,
month?
I think so.
Okay.
as I say, they're meeting on the 20th. I think they're going over those figures. Hopefully, we'll have it by your next meeting.
Okay,
Just find
perfect.
out.
Anything else you need?
No, I'm next on the list. I figured I'd just stand up here.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay, the next items I have, we had done our due diligence. We were here in September the 14th getting signatures for evidentiary material. We've done our due diligence as far as qualifying the project to we are exempt for administration and engineering costs. We have to go through the process of contacting different agencies, doing maps, doing debarment lists and everything like that. And I have 3 things for approval so we can send this into the development office to keep the project moving. I have evidentiary review of exempt activities, grantee debarment review certification, which we've done, and we have copies of that, and request for approval of evidentiary material checklist. You can do them all as one, as far as I'm concerned.
Need a motion to allow Terry Martin to file
Just
that?
signature of the.
Signature of the president, I'm sorry, for the acting president to sign
President.
that for Terry Martin.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have anything I need to sign, Terry?
I'll get it.
Okay. All right. Our next agenda item is our dilapidated and abandoned enforcement agency cases.
Good morning. It's case number 2021-46, which is James Turner, respondent for property located at 45 William Rose in Hurricane, West Virginia, tax map 240C, parcel 82. He is up for his final order. There's been no change since the initial inspection almost 2 months ago, so no effort has been put into it, so
So now it's just the decision to enter in the final order.
yes.
Motion that we enter the final order.
Okay, regarding case number 2021-46. Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You have that document?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
And then we have case number 2021-27.
Yes, this case is for Ronnie L. and Pamela K. Call, respondents, for property located at 1019 Midland Trail in Hurricane, West Virginia, tax map 231, parcel 51. The inspection that was conducted on October 8th of 2021 revealed that the respondents used their property as a business, like they said at the last county commission meeting, which basically recycles refuse. So as you can see from the before and after pictures that I've given you earlier, that the before pictures is from the initial inspection, and you can see the after photographs. So in my determination, the property will always have refuse, just different refuse for any future inspections. So it's also been determined that this property is zoned as an R1, which is a single-family district, and this type of salvaging, recycling business is not permitted. And therefore, I might see if Larry and I could draft a cease and desist letter to stop this type of business from operating in an R1 district. So I'll also contact the DOH as well, because the refuse is so close to the road that it's posing a potential hazard as well. So this is also up for a final order.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Call?
No, he's not here.
Okay, he's not here. Yeah, I mean, there's been no change, and if they're not supposed to operate a business right there, I see no reason to.
Yeah, the only change I see is they're changing out the refuse,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
right on the main road. And it's not even zoned for that
Right.
So this is
Need
the
to-
final order.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make a motion for the final order to be enacted.
Second, got a motion and a second regarding case number 2021-27. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you so much.
Any other orders? Anything else that need to come for us at this time?
Motion, we adjourn into our next meeting on October 28th at 5:30.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.